Once the shutter closes, your presence is gone. The piece of life is captured as a single frame and goes to the storage of memories. Once the shutter opens again, you see the different world. Welcome to the new presence. Once the shutter closes, phenomenons are forced to be separated from your perspective and start being parasitic on others. You say goodbye to now and say hello to now. Once the shutter closes.
Isn't it cool? Well, I will talk about this more later. But you know what? 2024 was kind of crazy for me. It was kind of a big year for me. My kid was born and I moved to a different house, different studio. I mean, bigger and better studio, which I am working on right now. And I did a lot of filmmaking gigs, works. And there is one thing that I can't tell yet, which was the biggest opportunity in my life. But next year, stay tuned for that. And a lot of cameras and lenses were released in 2024. December and January are the perfect time to, plan your next year, your future, and perfect time to think about your lifestyle and the creativity. If you are creators like videographers and photographers, you might want to review your works and camera gear so you can achieve the next goal. Even if you're not those, it is always important to think about what you have to have and what you shouldn't have. So, at the last of 2024, let's do what cameras and lenses should you have for 2025 to have the better life 2025. That sounds really great. I will break down this topic into 3 categories: casual, middle class, and professional use. Whatever you are, you might be able to find the answer you're looking for. So watch this until the end. Alright, so let's go over what we got in 2024 quickly. So from Sony, A7IV Mark II and ZV-E10II, and from Canon R1, C80, R5 Mark II, from Lumix, S9 and G87. And Nikon and Fuji released some cameras. My attitude to Nikon and Fuji, because I don't use those cameras, but next year definitely I will try those brands' cameras, Nikon and Fuji. The interesting is, except Canon, those brands released both a flagship and entry-level model. Well, this is just my guess, but the middle-class camera like A7IV, S5 II, X, S5 II, the new model of those cameras will be released in 2025? I don't know. Yeah, let's see what will happen. But including those, we have a plenty of choices, especially if you are starting out now. If you already have a camera, let's say Sony or Canon, whatever it is always important to rethink about your camera, about your gear. Always have a doubt. Choosing a camera is a choosing life. Yes, it is true. Because once you decided to live with, for example, Lumix, you're gonna have to live with the L-mount system. Panasonic, Leica, and Sigma, and other third-party lenses. Of course, choosing camera affects the image quality and user experience directly, but more than that, it affects your lifestyle. What mount system you choose is actually super important. And also, each brand has each uniqueness and attraction. First of all, you need to set your priorities. You want what most? The durability, autofocus, image stabilization, the image quality, photo versatility, cinema performance, what? Once you prioritize what you want, you're gonna find what brand can provide you with what you want. The important thing when it comes to the camera for casual shooters is easiness and the joy. Even if you finally decided to have a camera, you won't use it that much if it's heavy and big and complicated. Also, if you pursue the spec so much from the beginning, it's not even fun. Let's put the difficult thing aside and focus on the fun part. And of course, the price is also important. I have two options for you. One is really shifted to fun, and another is for easiness and versatility. The first one, focus on the joy, Fujifilm X-M5. So before I tried X-E4, which I didn't make a review, that was just, for my fun, having fun. It all started since I reviewed X-H2S. The video performance was great, but more than that, I enjoy the Fujifilm photography experience. I realized that JPEG easy photography was so much fun with a film simulation. So after that, I tried X-E4 for mainly street photography and the casual travel photography, videography. But now, since the new X-M5 was released, I think the crux of those products are still same. So why not? X-M5 is better and newer. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure this is great for the casual shooter. It's not super expensive. It's around $900 with this 15 to 45mm lens, but it got 26 megapixel APS-C sensor and it can shoot open gauge 6.2K. So you can enjoy the amazing photography experience, but you can shoot super high quality photo and video. And the camera itself, the design is beautiful. This is one of huge attractions of Fuji cameras. It has the power to motivate you to carry it every day and shoot every day. I think this is great for people who want to start a camera and want to have the juicy and nice images, but don't want to be that serious about it. Definitely, this is what I want to review in 2025. Stay tuned. So another one focusing on versatility, Sony ZV-E10II. I recently reviewed this one, but it was absolutely amazing camera, especially people who want to start video and photo in 2025. Honestly, this doesn't have the unique feature like Fuji, but in other words, this fits everyone. Because this does everything at the high level, so you can handle many different situations. This is also APS-C camera with 26 megapixel, which is more than enough for social media content. When it comes to the video, it goes up to 4K 60 FPS. What's amazing thing about this camera is this is specially designed for casual users, so it got many useful functions that can make shooting easy, but also still high quality. The camera itself cost around $1,000 and the lens for it, I recommend this kit lens. Well, it depends on the priority, but if you prioritize the image quality, go for Sigma 1650 or Sony 1655 2.8 G lens. But Sigma can bring the all potential that this ZV-E10II has, in terms of autofocus and image stabilization. And Sony 1655 is just expensive. So that being said, this kit lens is a great choice for starting out. By the way, the Lumix S9 is not for casual users. I mean, it's a little overkilling sometimes for that use. It is really tough to label this camera. It's not a casual camera, but it's not a middle-class camera. I guess it's, somewhere between those two stages. So, the intro short film you just saw was shot on Lumix S9. It got a power to create, but it doesn't have enough body strength to survive in the serious big budget filmmaking situation. Well, that's it about S9. But more than that, I want to talk about your skill before cameras. This video sounds like encouraging you to get cameras. Yes, it does, but skills, your creativity, especially lighting, is more important. So if you have a proper skill and light, you can make your idea inside of your head happen in this real world. So now let me introduce the lighting setup that I used for the intro short film. So first one, I used this SmallRig RC220B Pro as the key light, which was hitting the car and myself overall. 220 watt. It's super bright, but it's not that special. What's special about this light is, of course, the mobility. It can accept the AC power with this power adapter, V-mount, and NPF battery, and you can switch those power systems super quickly. So this allows you to use this light as the solid studio light with AC power and mobile outside key light with V-mount and NPF battery like I did this time. So right now I'm in the street basketball court. It's a really amazing place to 寒いんだよ。このまま使おう。This place is amazing to This place is amazing to play. Sorry, my mouth is really cold. But it doesn't have any light, by the way. This is a RC60C, but without it, it's a complete darkness. But that means it's perfect time to test that RC220B Pro. Let's see how that can do. So now, let's test how that RC220B Pro does in this situation. So let's turn on that light. Right now, it's 0%. By the way, if you use the V-mount battery on this, the total output power is limited at like 150 watts, I guess, but I guess it's pretty enough. So 0% right now. There is that ring over there. So 0%. Let's go up like 68%. So right now, it's perfect. There is no excuse. I have to make it. So I'm gonna take those off. Hey. If I make it, subscribe. If I don't make it, subscribe. That's a life too. If you miss it once, don't give up. Keep doing it because you can make it. If you miss it, don't give up. You can make it eventually. And of course, the quality is fantastic. You can adjust the temperature from 2700 to 6500 Kelvin, which is enough to be creative. So handy and so powerful. And you know what? This is about $330. If you're using ZV-E10II and thinking to upgrade to like a A7IV, no, get the light first. Oh, and don't forget about this softbox. It can create a nice and soft light, which is necessary for shooting people. Now, this is my main light for shooting gigs. And I used this RC60C RGB light, which was creating the motivating light. I introduced the normal version of this light before. Simply, this is the RGB version of that. It can be used as the bicolor light from 2500 to 10,000 Kelvin. Not only that, you can control the hue to change the color. You can have the RGB palette for the precise color adjustment. If you need more, you got professional light filters. So this is more than just a normal RGB light. Same as the original RC60, it got a built-in battery so you can use this without any cables. If you need a power supply, you can use NPF battery. This is the perfect second light, and maybe sometimes as the key light. And this is the most fun part. This RF10C flashlight. So this was the spice for the intro. I use this for expressing the car passing by vibe. First of all, this has 4 colors: sunset orange, icy blue, fairy red, and cool white. And you can adjust the projection size by changing the zoom angle like this. How cool is this? But still, it's a flashlight. What's making this more amazing is those 20 reproducible slice patterns. There are many shapes like window, triangle, dots, and even heart, some planet, I guess. Creative ideas are endless with those slides. It's great for both photography and videography. Perfect for spicing up shots and in case of emergency. And now SmallRig offers a Christmas gift set. You just can buy it, but if you spend more than $699, you get the Christmas gift for free. So if you're thinking to buy some camera accessories like cages, cables, clamps, lights, tripods, get it from SmallRig right now. So I'm going back to the camera topic again, but seriously, consider your lighting setup. Is it enough to be creative? Don't forget, the light is everything. The middle class camera is a little bit difficult because you will be shooting for money and also using it for art making. So I'm gonna label this middle class as the stage between the industrial use and self-expressing content creation use. So that's making this stage even more complicated. But what I wanna say is the middle class camera is something you use for both of business and fun. So not too industrial and professional. There is the perfect camera that can express this stage middle class, Sony A7IV, and I'm gonna put this away right now. So first of all, this is not a professional camera. Sorry, A7IV users, but honestly, I think so. It doesn't have a super durability that can handle the extreme video and photo shooting environments. I guess the speed is not enough for the really fast motion photography, and it doesn't last for long hours in video, and codecs are not enough in filmmaking. But this camera has amazing hybrid performance, and it's more than the money you pay. If you step up from the entry-level camera and want to have the super versatility for video and photo, A7IV is actually a great choice. And look around you, you can find at least 2 or 3 Sony users. The ecosystem and the popularity are one of the huge attractions of Sony. I said it's not an industrial camera, but it still shoots amazingly high resolution photo and sharp 4K. When it comes to the color, it shoots 42 to 10-bit S-Log3 with a wide dynamic range. And it is Sony full frame E-mount, so you can have a tons of lens options. If you don't know what to buy in this stage, just go for A7IV. But it's normal. Be ready for that. No hate. You know, I've been using the Sony cameras for long times, so this is just my honest feedback. It's good, but it's kind of boring for me. Yeah. Or sounds like A7V is coming soon, I guess. It's rumor, but I think so. So if you can wait, actually, I think you should wait. If you wanna make a move right now, don't wait. A7IV will give you what you want perfectly. And if you pair some lens with it, Sigma 24-70mm 2.8 Art version 2. That is perfect, period. Not finished yet. Let me clarify. A6700 is between ZV-E10II and A7IV. In video, it might be better than A7IV at some point. And also, FX3 is great choice at this stage. If you pursue the only videography, FX3 is better than A7IV. But based on my experience, in this stage, middle class users, you don't know which way you go exactly, like video or photo. I mean, you want to do both of them equally because you don't know what you are specialized for yet, photography and filmmaking. So in that case, A7IV is a classic choice. So the Canon R6 Mark II is in the same stage. I reviewed it before and it was the lovely camera. Basically, the video performance is not so different from Sony A7IV, but the photography experience is more than that, way more than that. Canon and photography, no doubt, better than anything. So if you're using a Canon camera, R6 Mark II is a great choice. So I know there is Nikon Z6 Mark III. Yeah, I guess it can be labeled in this middle class camera, but I've never used Nikon before. I mean, only Nikon. I tried, of course, Sony, Panasonic, Canon, and Fuji, but not Nikon. So definitely Nikon is in my list. Stay tuned again, 2025. So let me include Lumix S5 IIX in this stage middle class camera. Well, in terms of the price, it's the middle class camera, but it's actually more than those cameras I showed you in this middle class stage, especially the video. But I can't say confidently this is the industrial professional camera that can be used in the serious big budget, I don't know, commercial or movie making situations. I mean, you can. Well, actually, I'm using for that use, but I want a little bit more than I have right now. This is gonna be too long. But the question is S5 IIX the flagship model in Lumix? I don't think so. Not yet. Well, I wish there was an upper class of this model. So I was on the fence putting this camera in this middle class or the professional, camera. But after all, I decided to put this at the last of the middle class stage. But anyway, this is my main camera right now for everything. S5 IIX is the perfect camera for solo filmmakers. Reasons? Please watch my other videos. So this stage is super simple because you know exactly what you want, and this stage, if you don't come here yet. Not yet. In a good way, if you really want a super hybrid performance for your work, that's okay. Yeah, for that, S5 IIX is still a little weak, especially in photo. So I wouldn't say this camera is S5 IIX. This is not a super hybrid camera. You know why? Once you see the list. First of all, Canon R1. That is the extreme professional camera for especially journalism and durability. I don't know much about this camera, but I know that at least. In other words, this camera is not for people who don't need those. Simple, period. And Canon R5 Mark II. The Canon R5 Mark II might be more popular option. I think this is the best hybrid camera right now in the market. See, if you compare S5 IIX and R5 Mark II, you know why? S5 IIX is not enough as the professional camera. You know, those are opponents. R5 Mark II, R1, those cameras. Not yet, S5 IIX. I'm waiting for you, man. Come on. And continuing, Sony FX3. That is definitely industrial and professional camera, but it's more like a video camera, not like R5 Mark II. It got both up high image quality and durability. It is a semi-cinema camera, but still it got the best autofocus in the market. Yeah, it depends on the rig setup. That can be the full cinema camera. And because it doesn't have a top level photo performance, it is easier to get than R5 Mark II. So if you're ready to commit to the videography, filmmaking, throwing the photography away, FX3 is perfect for you. For this, let's use Sony GM prime lenses or Sigma Art prime lenses, not zoom lens, please. If it's Sony, 20mm G, that's okay. Not GM, but that's okay. This lens is super great, and 35 1.4 GM and 50 1.2 GM. And if it's Sigma, what was that? 20mm Art 1.4 and 35 1.4 Art and 50 1.2 Art. I know your wallet doesn't like it, but your heart will like it. At the last, let's go into the cinema zone. Blackmagic cinema camera 6K full frame. I'm on the fence buying it or not. You know, I'm using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, you know, APS-C EF mount, but Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K is a full frame and L mount version. It has L mount version. You know, I am living in the L mount system right now, so why not? The compatibility with me is so good. But thinking like S5 IIX can record Blackmagic RAW by using Blackmagic Video Assist. Right now, I'm using that way. I'm shooting that way. S5 IIX and recording at the Blackmagic Video Assist. So this is B-RAW from S5 IIX. So I can do that. So I'm thinking like, do I really need Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame, or you know, do I just want it? No answer right now. But yeah, anyway, the cinema camera is totally different world from the compact mirrorless camera like FX3, S5 IIX, and even R5 Mark II. It allows you to dive deep in filmmaking, not videography. So that is another way to live. You know, it's simple. It depends on what mount system you live. If it's Sony E mount Empire, FX3, FX6, FX9, Canon RF mount C80 kind of thing, and L mount, Blackmagic, that's it. Super simple. Well, actually, I haven't made my mind when it comes to this cinema zone. So yeah, 2025. I will. And I will make this type of video again when I have the solid mind for the cinema zone. So I really appreciate that I made this video today because I found one interesting and important thing. You know what? Right now is 3:57 p.m. but I have a meeting from 4 p.m. so I have 3 minutes left to finish this video. So let's see how much I can do. So Sony and Canon have widest camera genre options. I mean, they both have from a really low price compact camera to the high spec flagship expensive cinema cameras. Nikon, Fuji, Panasonic, they don't have above the general mirrorless cameras. Well, Fuji got a medium format camera, and Nikon has Z9, so they are better than Lumix right now, but they have less than Sony and Canon. 58, 358, 2 minutes left. And I think I talked about Sony and Canon more than those other brands today. Not intentionally, it naturally became what it is. So I know Nikon, Fuji, Lumix are putting so much energy and so much love in camera creating, camera making. 59, ちょっと止めなきゃいけないな. So I'm gonna join the meeting right now and I'm gonna come back here. So stop recording, which I don't want to do it because there is a flow. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta do that. Super crispy and beautiful light. The meeting was done. It was quick. It was like 10 minutes. Oh, it is so dark. Come on, the sun changes so fast in December. So, go back to the topic. I know Fuji, Nikon, Panasonic, Lumix are putting so much energy and love in camera making, product developing, especially Lumix, since it's my main camera system right now. But I realized that Sony and Canon have super huge power right now. They have plenty options so that many people can find their perfect match. And they can make those users stay in their brand. Like first, starting from Sony ZV-E10II, upgrading to Sony A7IV, and upgrading to Sony FX3 or 6. Starting from Canon RP and goes to R5 Mark II and goes to C80 cinema camera. So going to Sony or Canon is solid. You are secured. But this battle has just begun. Other brands are catching up with Sony and Canon, creating their own value, new value. Look at Lumix, S5 II, S5 IIX, S9, G8-7. In this short period, I said Sony and Canon are solid, but in other words, not spicy. If you're more like a creative business person, that's okay. Don't be too spicy. But if you're chasing more like a art making dream, self-expressing life, be spicy and be unique. I hope this video helps your decision making and helps you to be motivated for 2025. Not Sony and Canon always. Usually, I get ready for this crux part. What I say, I write a script. Exactly. Even a single word, single letter I write. But today, I haven't written. Because at the 2024, this is my, the last video in 2024. So I haven't written it yet intentionally because right now I want to say what I really want to say. It's like a freestyle. So what do I say at the last of 2024? No idea. No words, no letters, no ideas in my mind. Because I am already living in 2025. Let's see you guys in 2025 with